Good morning, everyone. We are here at the headquarters of the Ocean Race in Alicante, and I'm sitting here with Jean-Christophe Sabatier, who's the head of the watch development here at Ulysse Nardin. And we've got a couple of questions for him, considering that a couple of news just happened in the Ulysse Nardin world, starting with the fact that you just became independent. So how does it feel to be an independent brand?
Well, of course, it's a responsibility, obviously, and so I feel this responsibility as a product guy at Ulysse Nardin. In the meantime, honestly, I would say that it's more. I see it more in terms of strategy as a continuation of what has been done in the past. There is no change in the management, so we are going to continue to roll out the strategy that we have put in place 4 years ago when Patrick joined as a CEO. And also I have to say that inside the Kering group we always had a lot of autonomy. Mm-hmm. It's a group where there is they are nurturing the entrepreneurship mindset. So I think we are ready for this adventure. We are prepared, and so I see it as a change in terms of responsibility. Particularly towards our colleagues and our clients, but also in the meantime, we need just to think about continuing what we are doing. And it will go well.
Well, talking about this, yesterday you just unveiled the first, as we call, sustainable luxury watch in the industry. What was the most challenging? What were the challenges in creating an upcycling program?
I would say that the main challenge was to understand from which angle we should bring this sustainable content inside the watch.
Because a few have started. I mean, if we want to name what the program that Panerai did with Estelle, what the Econile of the bracelet for Breitling, or even the Fairmine project with the Chopard, you're not the first one to touch closely enough the sustainability program, but you probably, you are the first one to create a watch like on its own.
Yes. I think that we are a pool of brands that are at the forefront. We are part of it, and it's good that we are several trying to pioneer this field. Our approach is, I would say, maybe more systematic or global, if I may say.
So you started with what?
The first thing we try to do is first to identify where we are in terms of sustainable content and how we can improve it. Through quick wins. Okay, so this is, let's say, the hygienic part of it. And so, for example, today we are proposing steel, which is 85% recycled. So
from automotive industry and aircraft. Yes,
it's coming from automotive industry. We have also identified all the supply chain for this material. Our foundry is based in. We have chosen that the foundry for this material should be based in Austria. So, we have worked on that side. Then we have also tried to add a sustainable novelty, a sustainable component, a newcomer in the equation. And here we did not find the answer with our regular suppliers because
you have to think outside the box and looking for somebody else.
And in that type of field, the only solution is to go through startups.
Okay.
So we have started by the presentation of a concept watch 2 years ago, and the idea was to identify the startups and to work and partner with them in order to make that concept watch. And then from this concept watch, we have worked to make it happen in a limited edition with a commercial version. And of course, it implies risks when you work with startups. The mode with startups is learning by doing in a certain manner.
So there's mistakes, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and the supply chain of actually having enough material to supply what you're needed is...
So you make mistakes with them, or they make mistakes with you. And also between the startup that is sourcing the material for you and you as a brand, you have other suppliers that are implied in the chain. So it requires a teamwork in order to make it happen, in fact. So this is probably, of course, the most important challenge. And what we have chosen here is to source recycled fishing nets from the ocean with a startup called Fill and Fab.
Fill and Fab. And so that's why here, when you have this bracelet is 100% made of fish nets.
Yes, correct. And the case is 60% made of recycled fishing nets coming from the ocean. And this material is combined with carbon fiber that is upcycled from the aerospace industry, 40%.
Okay.
So it's a combination, and we give a second life to these two materials, recycled fishing nets and aerospace carbon fiber.
And do you think in the long run, most, if not all of the pieces in your collection, or at least at Ulysse Nardin, is it an objective or a goal that you're trying to achieve where all the pieces will be sustainable in the long run?
I believe that in the long run, all the watches will carry a large part of recycled materials.
Starting with packaging also, so it's a big problematic for brands.
Packaging, it's done starting from June, we will be 100% recycled for all the Ulysse Nardin collection. This is probably the easiest move, but still difficult, but we are there now, 100%, and it will be for all the collection.
Ticking the box.
So yes, it's done.
Ticking the box on the bracelet, where you're 100% recycle, and then gonna come the different watch part. You have the case, you have the plate,
Exactly. So for the case, for the steel, we are standing at 80 to 85% today, and we are working in increasing this level. For the titanium, it's lower, and we stand at today at 25%. We want also to increase that. We could speak about the movement, also the caliber. In a caliber, you have many components. Some are mainly in steel or brass. So depending on the component, depending on the supplier that you have for that component, at Ulysse Nardin we produce most part of the calibers, but we also buy few parts elsewhere. And you are between, let's say, for example, for the brass today we stand between 40 to 60% already.
Okay.
So the idea is to, of course, to increase this level. We also do that even for rubber straps. We have a tradition with rubber straps at Ulysse Nardin, and we are working with our supplier in order to use the waste of our own production and to put it again into the circle process. And on some colors today, we started from 0% last year. On some colors, we stand at 15%.
But it's also part of the cleanup of how you decided when Patrick joined and you gain your independence and you change the whole distribution in terms of cleaning the market with fresh point of sales and new collection, where you got some pieces back that you either melted in order to get some of the metal and recreating new pieces. And you just launched obviously the diver ocean race, but you just launched also the Freak X, which is probably one of the most iconic watch and coolest watch from the brand and probably from the industry for so many reasons. Is this going to be in the next couple of years one of the main focus of what and how you want the brand to be perceived towards the world?
Yes, sure, definitely. And Ulysse Nardin has always enjoyed a reputation and a good level of esteem in terms of capacity to innovate, to create. We are a daring brand.
Because it was the first movement, first component of movement that would actually give the time.
Yes, exactly. And it was also the first timepiece carrying silicium technology.
It was going to be my next question, but I'll let you finish that one.
No, when you look at the design of the watch or the concept itself, the Freak is probably the father or the grandfather of all the modern timepieces that you can find today in the market. All the unidentified objects, before the industry, everything was round, everything was simple, and the Freak is a kind of incredible, bizarre concept
but
design.
Now people want to be different, so.
And yes, and probably it's the very first one in the industry. So it was really a move, and this is part really of what we are. I mean, and I am referring to what you said. We have always been a startup, in fact, in terms of mindset. So independence
you
is
fall down,
really,
you stand up, you fall down the step, and you keep on going, and that's why you guys are still alive.
Yes, yes.
And the fact that now you own the majority of Sigatech, which is the silicium component-based company, how, because obviously it brings you some advantage and a competitive advantage towards other brands. What are you going to do with this? Like how are you going to take advantage of this in creating new pieces or new models or integrating a new, I guess, technology or what component within your collections?
Yes. We are producing with Sigatech our escapements and air springs. For the escapement, this technology is already considered as a premium technology in the market, so many brands are equipped with this technology. For air springs, very few brands have the capacity to propose air springs in silicium because this technology is patented. And we are part of this very limited club.
So they have to come through you.
And we are proud of that. And we are going to continue to innovate inside the silicium technology for the escapements, for the calibers. We are producing dials also in silicium, in a silicium marquetry. I mean, it's a component we like very much. So I really believe that it will continue to be a field where we are going to play. We have, for example, presented in the recent years some concept watches related to escapements and silicium. Escapements made of blades also, which is a technology that is very compatible with the silicium as a material. So I see this field as a playground for innovation, for the movements,
with
for
new
us,
areas.
with new realizations. And the sustainable field, I see it as a second playground, particularly for what we call the habillage, all the components that you find around the caliber.
And you know what's in the pipeline for the upcoming product that you're going to launch in 1, 2, 3, 4 years. We don't. Can you give us any insights or maybe a couple of reasons why we should keep an eye on what's going to come next?
Well, you have mentioned that we have presented strong novelties inside the Freak collection, particularly at the last Watch and Wonders. And we have also presented an astronomic piece. I mean, pieces that are really related to the origins of the rebirth of the brand under the guidance of Mr. Rolf Schneider 25 years ago. And we are going really to emphasize into that direction. I mean, we want really to be considered as a genuine technical and design creators.
But you want to be considered cool, visionary, upcoming,
yes, and it's the brand
technical
promise.
At the same time.
Yes, it's
cool.
The brand promise, and we will continue in that direction. And you will see many novelties, particularly inside the Freak collection.
Perfect. Well, we're very excited about this. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for listening to us, and we'll be back with more guests and questions. Bye, guys.
Bye.